You're too kind. Cut it out. You're too kind. Oh, my goodness. You're just too kind. Too kind. Knock it off. Come on. Oh, you guys are too much. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Come on now. Oh, I really appreciate you very much. Welcome to Late Night in the Heartland. I'm your host, Jeffrey Daugherty. And I tell you what, folks, it's been a crazy past couple days. We saw the debate. And to be fair, most people say that Kamala Harris really got beat and she really got beat bad. But you know what? You have to understand the candidates were sitting, and we all know that Kamala does her best work when she's on her back or on her knees, right? It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And you know, I'm not saying that Mike Pence has some weird proclivities. I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, that if I was 7 years old, he would be a landslide winner in the least likely to bounce me on his knee election. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. I mean it. I mean it. I mean it, ladies and gentlemen. I mean it. But hey, listen, Kamala Harris, ladies and gentlemen, let's be honest. The Golden Gate Bridge is the only thing in San Francisco that got more traffic than Kamala Harris's pussy, and it's not pretending it's black. You guys are terrible. You're terrible. Every one of you, dirty and rotten. And I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Wow, ladies and gentlemen. How about that original material? So you know who to hate. You know who to hate if you hate that little monologue that we do there. But it's Late Night in the Heartland, ladies and gentlemen. And we're inviting you to unindoctrinate overnight. And we will open the phone line up in a little bit. It's not open right now because what we want to do is always, we live in a world that most people want you to think is really, really terrible right now. I don't believe that's true, but even if it were true, I know that we're living in a world where things are going to get much, much better very, very quickly. In fact, sooner than you can ever imagine. So that's why here on jeffreydaugherty.com, under the Good News tab, we have created Good News for a Change. Every day, I go into service for you, great people. After the show, I do it, get up in the morning and do it. And we put together some good news for a change. And it's a change because we don't get much good news, and focusing on good news does make a change, ladies and gentlemen, in our lives and in our worlds. And that's what makes it so good. That's what makes it so fun. And we want to be able to bring this to you. And I bring it to you on a daily basis. So let's go ahead and get right into it. You see the first one. President Trump says Americans will be out of Afghanistan by Christmas. I don't know if I'm the only one that is sick and tired of waging war with other countries where we don't belong, but I am very, very happy to now have a president that is waging peace. He's bringing the troops home from Afghanistan. We've been guarding the poppy fields of the deep state heroin brokers for far too long, ladies and gentlemen. And President Donald Trump announced via tweet Wednesday that all remaining U.S. troops in Afghanistan will be withdrawn by Christmas, putting an end to the 19-year American military conflict there. Well, Jeff, that's not such a big deal. If it's your daughter, your brother, your sister, your mother, your son, it is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. And that's a huge deal. And I'm so glad to have a president that is waging peace and not waging war. To me, that is so, so important. We're waging peace. We are not waging war. And that alone is a reason for me to go and vote for President Trump on November 3rd. Going back, we've got the White House economist saying that job growth is way ahead of schedule. Now, I know that some of you are independently wealthy and you don't need a job. I know that some of you don't care about jobs, but some of us do care about jobs. And the White House has just released a great story that job growth is way ahead of schedule, ladies and gentlemen. Forward-looking measures of activity point to a huge production gain this quarter that will last into next year, said Joe Lavorna. That's going to require a lot more physical bodies, and that's income, and that's created when things get spent, which just multiplies through the economy. It's great news, ladies and gentlemen. I'm also known as a Christian whistleblower, so come back to this channel when it's not late night. It's sometime as well. Jobs are coming back, folks. Spirits are coming back, folks, and we're taking back our country, and I'm very glad to have it. This is something that needed to happen that hasn't been happening. We ask ourselves, why in the heck are we letting these people, run our country into the ground, and they're not having to answer? Kamala will put people in jail for having a little bit of the devil's lettuce. I'm not really into the devil's lettuce, but there's no reason to put people in jail for the crazy sentences that she was putting them in, and then to defend people that go out and assault and destroy and let them stay on the street and not even have any difficulty. But thank goodness days are changing. This Antifa militant in the District of Columbia is charged for assaulting the OANN's Jack Posobiec. And you know what? I just love these people. Look at how tall he is. And look at what Soy Boy Snowflake looks like. Jeff, why aren't you worried about Antifa? Why am I not worried about Antifa? Look at this snowflake. Jason, you done effed up, brother. You have got the people that just wanted to be left alone fired up, and they are coming for your pasty white ass. Go ahead and put on your goggles and go ahead and put on your mask. Go ahead and put on your beanie. Where have I seen that before? We about to beat your ass if you don't back down. Do you understand? But listen, the accused Antifa ringleader has been charged for assaulting a journalist at a BLM protest in June, and they're going to put this guy under the jail and throw away the key. He unlawfully assaulted and threatened a network host in a menacing manner. A D.C. Superior Court criminal complaint cited. Well, good. Now, folks, you know that I am not exactly the best friend of pastors. I'm not exactly the best friend of churches. I'm not going to be on any baby Jesus birthday card lists, otherwise known as Christmas, from these guys. But you know what? Fair is fair, and the law is the law, ladies and gentlemen. And this pastor, I give him kudos. This pastor, I say I've got his back. Silicon Valley pastor fights a $220,000 total in fines by California officials for holding church services. Pastor Mark McClure from the Calvary Chapel in San Jose. And the guy has at least got some chutzpah. The guy at least has some cojones. And when Calvary Chapel San Jose pastor Mike McClure opened his church for indoor services, it was May 31, the day of Pentecost. He says, hey, Walmart's open. If you can go to Walmart, you can come to church because Walmart is not covered by First Amendment rights. Here it is officially, Jeff Daugherty backing some pastors because Jeff Daugherty backs the right thing, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? When you know it's going to be your day, I mean, every day is my day. My life is incredible, but you know when it's going to be your day, when little things like this happen, when right before your great show with your great audience and your great subscribers, right before that, as soon as the coffee's ready, the dishwasher finishes at the same time. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe you don't understand the subtleties, and maybe you don't give thanks for the little things in your life. But when the coffee finishes at the same time as the dishwasher, that means you get to take a nice hot cup a nice hot cup out of the dishwasher. And I'm telling you, hot coffee tastes so much better than hot coffee tastes so much better in a hot cup. Hot coffee in a hot cup. It's that kind of day, ladies and gentlemen. I've got a great announcement for you. Starting tomorrow night, I have entered into, it costs $500. Jeff, why do you do the Super Pal chat? You're just trying to get money. Well, Super Pal chat is, you're familiar with Super Chat on YouTube. Well, in YouTube, if you do a Super Chat, they take half the money. I think that sucks. Hold on a second. Call right back. I think that sucks. So even though I'm demonetized, I started the Super Pal chat. So you can hit this URL, paypal.me/Jeffrey Daugherty, and you can give a PayPal, a Super Pal chat, a gift to me. And I appreciate it. Sorry for the coffee grind. Lines aren't open until I say I'm open, but guess what? What do you do with that money, Jeff? Well, starting tomorrow, I have spent $500 for the year, and we have brought in a great phone system. And starting tomorrow, there's a couple of exciting things that will happen. Number one, you won't hear that annoying ring. And number two, you won't keep hearing that annoying ring when somebody's on the phone talking to me, because we're going to have a phone line. It'll be a different number, unfortunately. But we'll have a phone line, and I'll answer it. And then when other people call in, you will go on hold. So you can stay on hold, and you can wait, and I'll take the calls in the order that they're received, except if you do a Super Pal chat and you put in your Super Pal chat, your phone number, then you will go right to the front of the line. So that's how it's going to work. And we just only have 3 rules. Number 1, be interesting. Number 2, be polite. And number 3, don't be too freaking wasted, okay? At least be able to put some words together. String a sentence together. Don't come in here biting it up, all right? We can't have that. And remember, starting tomorrow night, if you're not interesting, if you're not polite, and if you are causing problems, there's going to be 4, 5, 6, 7 people waiting behind you. And guess what? We will be quick on the draw. So it brings a little competition. And you know what? You got to reward the early bird. So here we go with the first call of the night. It is late night in the heartland. You're the first caller live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Oh my God, that is fantastic, Jeffrey Daugherty.
Okay, I'm glad you're fired up, because I'm fired up too. I am so good. How you like my new jacket? You like the new jacket?
It's beautiful, my friend. What I got to do though is I'm on holidays in Queensland, in sunny Australia, and I'm on the phone, so I had to actually call in on my phone, and I can't look.
Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to call all the way from the great nation of Australia. Sorry that you guys are going through so much. What do you got for me tonight?
Okay. Well, number one, Jeffrey, I want to apologize. I'm flat smack biblical. I've been trolling you a little bit. In FSB. Yeah?
I'm sorry, I lost you a little bit there.
Oh, that's okay. Flat smack biblical. FSB,
oh, yes, I know who you are. I know who you are.
Yeah, I wanted to apologise. I've been a little bit. I did watch you live, and I got a bit, got a bug up my butt, but I've been watching you, man, and it's okay. I think I understand where you're coming from, believe it or not. So, what I called up for is that what I do with Flat Smack Biblical is I actually say that the Bible is, as it's said in the Bible, the kingdom of God is within. So when I read the Bible, I use it like an inner roadmap to a higher knowing. Do you understand?
I do.
You know what I mean? So when Jesus was saying we had a Father in heaven, well, we all have a Father in heaven, right? So we all have a higher part of ourselves in another, our higher being. And we're all sons and daughters of God. That's my understanding. And I sort of heard you say the same thing when you were talking with Alex.
You're very much in line with what I think. And number one, you don't need to apologize, and it proves what a man that you are, that you did, and I appreciate that. But it sounds like you and I are exactly on the same page as to the divinity.
Yeah. So then I was thinking how you utilize Dianetics for whatever your whatever you do, you use Dianetics. And I was thinking, well, possibly that's exactly the same. So L. Ron Hubbard wrote this book that you agree with, or this theory that you agree with, and you put it within.
That's
right? Because you have to.
That's possible. The only problem, the only place your analogy breaks down there is that Dianetics is an actual observable, practical science. It doesn't really fall in the realm of mythology, metaphysics, or even mysticism. But yes, I concur with what you're saying.
Okay, because I would actually say that about the Bible. I would say, when somebody dies on an operating table and they can see themselves being operated on, or something happens and they can see themselves, I understand that as being the highest self, which I would call then biblically the Father. So therefore there seems to be proof of a higher aspect to our being. Heaven, Father in heaven, Mother Earth, we're in between, we're Christ.
That sounds exactly like what I think in my mind, only you put it in different words. So in those terms, I would be very much in agreement with you. But if I was still the Pentecostal evangelist, I would be taking you to task for having a dangerously pagan concept of the Word of God.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I sort of, because you are quite harsh, and listening to you,
Oh, me? I'm harsh?
Yeah, harsh. And for somebody who's considered harsh, like Christians don't necessarily like me because, I tell them they're all sons of God and daughters of God and stuff like that. But then I realized you were doing the exact same thing, and I'm pretty sure Scientologists don't like you.
Well, the official Church of Scientology, which is Black Scientology, no, they don't like me, and sooner or later they'll come after me. But there are many people just like me. I'm following on a great legacy of people that believe in what we would call the technology, the spiritual technology of Dianetics and Scientology after that. White Scientology. There's a lot of people that believe in the tech, but they do not believe in the fear and guilt control matrix church of Scientology. So I'm not all by myself in that regard, but I am pretty much all by myself as far as my spiritual beliefs, but maybe not listening to my great friend down there on holiday in Australia.
Yeah, well, and that's what I started to realize. We're actually thinking the exact same things. We're not thinking any different. You've just got.
Can I stop you 1 second?
Yes.
I think that you just hit the key. When both of us, you and I, we are thinking. We're not accusing. We're not yelling. We're not screaming. We're not demeaning. We're actually thinking man to man, guy to guy. And when that happens, great things can happen. I salute you for having the guts to be a thinker.
Thank you, Jeffrey. I appreciate, and that's what I appreciate about you. You have your truth. And that's why I wouldn't argue your truth, because you wouldn't argue my truth. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're not going to go, oh, you're an idiot for believing the Bible's a roadmap to your higher self. And I'm not going to say you're an idiot because you believe that you can help people become clear.
Well, thank you. And that's all we need, is to be able to listen to others. And I mean, it may come a time where, I hope it doesn't, because I think things are going to go great in the U.S. on November 3rd. But there could potentially come a time where patriots in the United States, and maybe in Australia as well, need to band together. And that might mean patriots that are Christians, patriots that are Jews, patriots that are Muslim, patriots that don't do anything or worship anything. And we will have to, at some point, potentially come together as patriots. And after we win the battle, then we can sit back around the fire with a cold one and talk about these other things. But we have to understand that we have to get together on some things, even though we're not together on everything.
Yeah, that's true. And you're exactly right. And I look at America, and I think a lot of Australians, well, a lot of awake Australians, or people who are a little bit more aware, look at America and with your constitution and your amendments with, complete respect. And we so wish we had something like that here. We have nothing in place here to protect us. The only freedom of speech we have is against the parliament. We can't actually voice freedom of speech in Australia. It's not legal. Isn't that weird?
That is so weird. And, I appreciate you saying that. And I just wish that those that are in the United States will listen to this brave man down in Australia telling us what they think about what we have. We get so complacent. And I think one of the problems with most Americans is we've never been anywhere else. And it is so important to understand the rights and the liberties and the unique things that we have in this country. And I really appreciate you saying what you've said to help kind of give us a little smack, a little namaste nudge to, hey, wake up, guys. You got a lot of good stuff over there.
Yeah, you do. And it's a pity about that crazy liberal left, but we've got that here. So, that's kind of what we're fighting against, that sort of ignorance, that liberal left ignorance. But
we all, and there's some ignorance on the right too. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, well, you go too far down either of those paths and you've lost it. I would have called myself left 20 years ago. Now I'm sort of just centre, but centre seems to be right now. I don't know what's going on.
It's a crazy world all across it, not just in the U.S., but in your country as well. How's your holiday? You having a good one?
It's going beautiful, mate. We've sort of got elections kind of happening around Queensland way, so they stopped all the mask wearing, all the fear, all the paranoia. We were in South Australia where it's okay, right next door to Victoria where it's hell, and we just had to fill out a bit of paperwork and fly out on holiday. So it's gone pretty good for us. We're okay here. I'm
so glad to hear it. What else do you have for me tonight?
Well, that was about all. I just wanted to say, just say a little sorry. I am sorry about trolling you. I didn't quite understand you. I might have jumped to conclusions. And I'm glad you're doing what you're doing. And stick with your truth, my friend.
And I have.
And that's all that matters.
And if you were trolling me, I have probably smacked you back, and I apologize for anything that I may have said or typed to you in the chat room that was less than loving. You're obviously a very intelligent man. You're one of the good ones, and I salute you for being here, and thank you so much. Enjoy your holiday.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey, and hope to talk again.
Absolutely. Don't be a stranger. Call anytime.
Okay. Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. Bye. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? All the way from Australia. It is late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Great. Sorry to turn off my phone. I've talked to you. I've never actually talked to you, but I've been watching you for quite a few years. Oh, hello?
We hear you.
Okay, sorry that there's a delay. Anyways, I'm from Southern California, and I agree with so many things that you say. And hearing that from California is kind of crazy, right?
That is such good news. And you know what? The more that I'm seeing, from social media and from people talking on this program, this is such a great idea. I get to talk to so many people and hear so many things. And I hear that there is actually a great rumbling within the Golden State. And I'm almost believing that. Could you imagine if California could flip? You guys are doing great work there. Keep it up.
California has always been 99% Republican in land mass. It's the fact that they have all these newly imported refugees, and immigrants. And it's terrifying because they don't give these people a social security number or a card. And, they make them work with these Monsanto products. And they have to wear half suits. And their children get sick, and they're deformed. And it's my produce very, very good.
And you should. And we know that it's like when President Trump came down that escalator way back before the election, and he said that we have people pouring over our southern border, and some of them are sick. Some of them are criminals. Some of them are not good people. And there's no reason to let people just pour into our country and overwhelm great states like California. We already take in far more immigrants than any other nation in the world ever has and ever will. But we have to realize that you've got to take a look and take care of yourself for a while. And California is a beautiful place. I've lived in SoCal. I lived in Dana Point for a couple of years. I've lived up in Northern California. I lived in Pacifica, which is right on the coast outside of San Francisco. It's a beautiful, beautiful state, but it is being overrun. And I think you've identified a legitimate reality that a lot of the problems of California are not from people that are native Californians and people that, you know, live there and move there because they love it. It is suffering a great deal because of the onslaught of illegal immigration, and that is illegal. It's law breaking, and it has to stop before we destroy one of the most beautiful places, not only in the United States, but in the world.
Well, they're trying to break us because California has the largest pension in America. And they're trying to embezzle it right now, but they're trying to do bankrupt us with nothing's free. So these people which have no social security cards, or which are using an American's identity, they're getting housing, medical, food stamps, healthcare. Plus, they're working a job. When you drive out to the fields, they're driving Hummers, Mercedes, Lexuses. And you're just like, oh my gosh. And then they don't buy, but they buy the whole entire apartment complex. So now you've got like a mafia. They're drunk. I mean, when people come over to work, they're men, like our soldiers. You know, they're there to fuck, drink, and do their job. Sorry.
No, you can say that. This is Late Night in the Heartland. And you've identified something that people know, but they just won't say it out loud. You know, I'm a veteran. I served 7 years in the United States Air Force. And if I went to California, I would not get food stamps. I would not get welfare. I would not get housing assistance. I would not get legal representation for free. I would not get all of these things. And, you know, if it would be one thing, I think it's stupid, but it would be one thing if the people came over, they were very grateful. You know, they retained their heritage and their culture because they are entitled to that, but they would try to assimilate into the country that's giving them. And instead of being nuisances, instead of forming gangs and sometimes literal gangs, and instead of harassing great American citizens that are paying for all the shit they got, they make asses of themselves and they become a problem. And I think that we finally had enough. There's good people, there's great people that immigrate. Most of those are great people that do it legally. And it's time to say enough is enough. Build that wall, make it tall, make it strong, and we will work with the people that come in legally and we'll all get along.
I agree. And another thing too, let's talk about the children. You know, the Latino community, you know, here they get married, you know, 8th grade, 9th grade summer, you know, and most of these men are married in Mexico and they don't even know this. So they end up marrying them. Then they have these children, and after they buy their house because they're living with their mother-in-law, you know what I mean? They take advantage of these girls. And, you know, the fathers aren't going to let him sleep outside, you know, and so he's got a bed. And then they go back to Mexico to their families, and they abandon their wives and their daughters and their children, their sons here in California. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And one thing that doesn't get talked about a lot, because I don't think people understand it very much, and it is a clash of cultures, but it's very dangerous for us because, you know, we have a standard here in the United States, you know, 16, I think is the lowest I've ever heard, but we have standards that you can't have sex with underage girls. If you look at many of the countries in Central and South America, and you can look it up, don't get mad at me, not talking to you, but everybody that's listening, some of those countries have very low standards of how old a girl can be for you to have sex with her. And they come up here to the United States and they're used to doing it a certain way. And we are seeing an onslaught and a massive onslaught of sexual predatory practices by American standards and by American law in the United States of America by people that come from countries that have a much lower standard of legal age of consent. And that is kind of a hidden, silent catastrophe that's going on, but that has to stop, and it has to stop now.
I absolutely absolutely agree with you with that, with the 100%. And the Latino community, because I live with them, I grew up with them. And, you know, I'm sorry, my husband's Latino. So, anyways.
And you know, the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of Latinos that are the hardest workers. There's many of them have very much devout faith, and they're very good moral people. Most of the Latinos are not the problem. It's the bad ones that sneak in and bust in and break in illegally. You know, the whatever is that, MI5, the gang, and then
here it's the Mexican mafia. You have the cartels. It's the Mexican mafia is what we call them. And then you have the black motorcycle riders. And then we have a lot of Hells Angels. And then we have like the Red Bulls. You know, the Fresno, they're called the Red Bulls. And it's like silliness, but it's all about money. It's all about running the drugs, coming through the border. And with I would say the Attorney General's consent, because like President Trump closed off the border, you know, where they couldn't bring the drugs through. Next thing you know, they're flying people from the hospitals right there to San Diego. And I'm just like, oh, well, there's a couple 100 pounds coming in, you know?
Because, you know, from Pelosi to Newsom to Schiff and all the way down to your local level, they're getting paid off. This is why they hate President Trump so much. Yeah, they hate his policies. Yeah, they hate the fact that he's crushing their power. But I said this last night, Donald Trump has his Glock 19 out, and he's going around and he's shooting these geese that lay the golden eggs for these criminals. And when you cut off this money and this drugs coming in, he is cutting off their income.
After he was to Stockholm, and he met with them, and he asked them, what do you guys do with the drugs? And then he goes, well, after, you know, we seize and we charge them, we burn them. And then the next week, there was 1,500 little boats burning off the Pacific and the Atlantic. I was laughing. I was like, oh my gosh, the coast, Southcom, they just burnt the ships.
They are, you know, Donald Trump is doing a lot of great things, but one of the things he's doing, I think that's greater than anything else, is he is stopping all of this illegal money and all of this illegal trafficking that's coming in. And another thing we haven't mentioned is coming in through the border, a lot of human trafficking, and mostly it's vulnerable young women that are coming up here and working in the happy ending places and out on the street, on the pole. And a lot of those are women that are being victimized. And a lot of it has to do with illegal immigration. And there's so much human tragedy. You know, the people on the left want to get all, oh, how can you be against people? Well, they're not all nice people. In fact, probably a great significance of them are not nice people. This lady talking to us is evidence she lives there, and it's time to stop it. And we have a president that's stopping it. And when we elect him for 4 more years, by the time 2024 comes, I will be willing to bet that California will be a different place once we, you have President Trump in, and maybe not having worried about getting reelected again, although maybe he will, that he'll be able to act even more decisively. And I can't wait for it.
Did you know that they're paying California $350,000 per COVID death?
Yes. Isn't that ridiculous?
That is like genocide. That's like saying, and then you look at, like, okay, you're not supposed to say the words, SOROS.
Right.
And then you look at the rocks, and then the rocks, the rocks is like, you're always talking about Jesus Christ, but I question everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's a divine creator, and
I agree.
And everyone. And the only thing I love, well, I love a lot of things, but I love Jesus' 10 Commandments. When the bankers are packing up their money, and let them grab their knapsack. You sell what you have, and you stop them, And right now it's just it's Nancy Pelosi, Gavin Newsom, Silicon Valley, the tech giants, and it's the World Health Organization, the United Nations, and the military complex, and Big Pharma against us. They want us to, be sick from the time that we're born until we die, and not to leave our houses, and buy robots to come in and wash our hair, and, just be completely 100% dependent, not on ourselves, like the movie WALL-E. You ever thought about that?
I have thought about it, and I think you're exactly right. I appreciate you calling in. This is a great call. Do you have any last words for me?
Well, you're talking about the missing children, and I always do this. 800,000 children go missing in America every year. That's one every 40 seconds. Okay, and 450,000 of those are American citizens. The other are the non-documented. And when you realize what is war, it's food, it's daycare, it's hygiene, it's a racket, you know what I mean? And when you get people into these isolations and they're completely dependent, I mean, there's nothing a mother wouldn't do to feed that child.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true. And a lot of times I think these children end up getting horrible things done to them too. And the mothers sometimes will be willing to do anything to stay in America.
Well, yeah, stay in America and not have to return. And the journey is when you realize, like, you know, all these growth hormones and all these old people like Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden, they got to get shots. What are they getting shots? It's children's growth hormones.
Absolutely. Or things even worse, AC. We're not going to say the word, but AC.
Yeah. Like, I don't know one mother that would sell a drop of their child's blood. So you know this is happening without consent.
Well, you know, unfortunately, that's about the only thing that I disagree with you. A lot of times people will get so desperate. A lot of times people are so hooked on things themselves that they will. I mean, there's documented cases of people selling children.
Yeah. No. Selling children, absolutely 1 billion%.
Yeah.
1 billion%, because they're thinking it's going to Neverland with Peter Pan.
And they're not. Hey, thanks for the call. That was a fantastic call. I hope that you'll call back again soon.
Okay, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Wow, we are off to a great start here at Late Night in the Heartland. We invite you to unindoctrinate overnight. The call-in number is there, 813-534-0083. Starting tomorrow, we'll have multi-lines, and we won't have to listen to the annoying ringtone. And I'm asking you to like this video or hate it, but at least make your feelings known, and please do subscribe to the channel as well. It doesn't really matter to me if you do, but it really helps out as far as getting the message out, because if you have more subscribers, your channel is higher and gets recommended more. And I'm really on a mission, and my mission isn't to get subscribers. I love subscribers, but the mission is to get the message out, and that means that we want to have more viewers, which we're blowing up on viewers. And to help do that, if you like the program, give it a thumbs up. If you hate it, give it a thumbs down. And if you're not subscribed, please do. And if you think you're subscribed, please double check, because a lot of times they will knock you off the rolls and you'll be unaware of it. That's a great call. And there's a lot of hidden tragedies and a lot of hidden travesties within the idea of illegal immigration into our great country. It's Late Night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Caller, are you there?
It's me again.
Nice to hear from you again. This is Joe, right?
Yeah, this is Joe.
Nice to hear from you. What's on your mind tonight, Joe?
So, I want to put my own attachment onto the caller who did the immigration thing.
Go ahead.
So, I volunteered here in town for a while, and I've met some who came here to make the American dream.
Yep.
I know they are good people, and socializing with those people, I want them to have that opportunity. And there is a dark side to this because of all the gangs moving into the country, which is pretty sad. They take advantage of the gullible, the weak, those who do not have the power to carry themselves at the moment. And I would prefer that they would the bad ones will be prosecuted as possible, but some people don't want that. And they want to open borders, as you know, and we cannot have that because it's imagine whatever country they are moving to, take out that whole country of the people, then move the whole thing to another country.
Exactly right.
That the people who are already here have their own boundaries, their own different set of moralities that we as Americans, we must have a dignity for the children, the women who can't take care of themselves, and all the poor and unfortunate souls. And they just gotta give them something sorted out. Now, I do not have much power since I am disabled. I can't get into politics, I can't get in the military, but what I can do is continue to do the small time volunteer and bring them your message. That's the least I can do.
Joe, that is tremendous. That is tremendously honoring to me. And I appreciate your call. Please call back in again sometime. But I mean, here's a man, Joe Sapiens. He's got some challenges in his life. And most of the people, and please don't call right now. Let me get this out. Most of the people that have challenges in their life that aren't even near the challenges that Joe faces, many times they'll sit home and feel sorry for themselves. They'll play the victim. They'll want, oh, poor me. And here's Joe Sapiens facing some hard difficulties head on, and he's not sitting home crying. He's not whining. He's not playing the victim. He's the victor. He can see that he's in a challenging situation, and yet he's out there volunteering to help other people. Joe Sapiens is showing me how to be a better man, and he's offering a great example that all of us should be implementing. Joe Sapiens, thank you for showing the way to be a great human, and to think that you consider me any type of inspiration to you. That chokes me up, Joe. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for that absolutely fantastic call. Ladies and gentlemen, we love each other here. We're polite to each other here. We don't say bad things about people. We don't try to make jokes at people's expenses. And Triona Ryan, all the way from Ireland, says that Joe is a stunning example of what a victor looks like. And my granddaddy used to say to me, when I'd start complaining about something, he would say to me, he said it 100 times, Jeff, the man that had no shoes felt really, really bad till he met the man that had no feet. Somebody's got it worse than you do somewhere. So be happy for what you have. Be thankful for what you have. And be willing to share your time and yourself and anything else that you want to with other people. The Super Pal chat is available to you. The call-in line at 813-534-0083 is open to you. Again, we ask you to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. And this is Late Night in the Heartland. We're helping you unindoctrinate overnight, ladies and gentlemen. And I have to make a public apology to Keto Rocks, who's in the chat room. I was scheduled to be on their podcast last night. And, with the fasting and the new show and getting everything going, I completely spaced it off. I apologize to them. And I can't be there next week because I got something scheduled. But let's do the week after that if we can. I apologize very, very much. And I'll follow up in an email with you. It is late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Are you there, caller? Going once? Going twice? Call back, please. And the line just opened up. Just think tomorrow night, multiple lines. We can stack up 10 calls if you want to wait and hold. We appreciate it. And it'll be a much better show. And yeah, it's $500, but we're making a commitment to this program because we think that we may have hit some secret sauce here, ladies and gentlemen, or discovered some secret sauce. It's late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Jeffrey. I've been watching you for like 6 years.
That's incredible. Thank you so much.
I finally got the nerve to call in. I think there's a delay in watching the video while I'm talking, but
There is. So just talk with me like we're having a chat, and you'll be able to hang up and listen to a lot of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to phone and let you know that I appreciate you and that you've been a shining light for me in my journey of spirituality. You confirmed a lot of things for me to do with, like, I always question the Bible. I've never been religious. I explored that when I was younger, and I always thought it just didn't feel right for me. And so a lot of the things in the different shows I've watched throughout the years have confirmed some of my doubts that I've had about the Bible. And so I appreciate, all the years you've spent to dispel all the things that are inaccurate in there. And
I thank you so much for that. Please take your time. It's like sliding into a nice warm bath. It's just person to person. There's no stress, no pressure. There's only hundreds of thousands of people listening to you. It's no big deal.
Okay, no pressure.
None at all. None at all.
From Canada. I live in an area. It's Chilliwack. I call it the Whack.
I love Canada. I've spent a lot of time up there, and it's a great country with great people. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, and we don't live in igloos, just so everyone knows.
I was a little disappointed by that, I'll be honest with you, but you're right.
Yeah. There's just so many unanswered things that I had swirling around in my mind throughout my, lifetime, and everything you said has just totally resonated with me and helped me grow and develop spiritually in so many ways. I want to salute you for being an instrument and instrumental to shining a light on the knowledge within, this world, because we need as much light as we can get.
It's okay. You can call me a tool, because that's really what I am, as a tool for you to use to find your truth. And to hear you say that, I mean, I get called a lot of things every day, and most of them are not nice. But when I hear from someone like you, it makes the journey so well worth it. I really do appreciate everything you've said, and I hope that I can continue to say something or do something along the way that gives you some inspiration or helps you achieve and believe, and maybe just receive a nice little chuckle that'll help you get through your day. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you for doing what you do every day, and putting one foot in front of the other, and doing it one day at a time.
And we will keep doing it. Do you have anything else for me?
No, I just hope your channel continues to grow, and that more people tune in. And I
you know, try to turn as many people as I can onto watching you, but there's just still so many people with their head in the sand, unfortunately. So it's good to know that there's lots of like-minded people that I can relate to. So just, yeah.
Well, I thank you so much, and we will keep doing it. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
All right. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Bye-bye. Back in 73, I think it was, Elvis Presley was voted one of the most outstanding young men of America by the JCs. And he said something like, without a song, the day would never end. Without a song, the road don't have a bend. Without a song, a man ain't got a friend. So I just keep singing the song. Thank you very much. And that's kind of my attitude. Without a song, without a message, without a truth, we don't have anything. So I try to be a song. I try to be a message that you can use and you can leverage to make your life a little better. And every time one of us gets better, every time one of us gets more clear, the rest of us get better, and humanity as a whole gets better. And it's humbling, and it's very, very encouraging and exciting to be a part of it. Tracy weighs in and says, if the dose and whist hasn't brought people out of their slumber, then they'll probably remain in slumber this time around. What a great statement that is. I mean, if you can't look around at what's happened to us since, January of this year, if this doesn't cause you to realize that something's going on, then you probably aren't going to realize that something's going on, and you're probably not here listening. So, but you may stumble across this channel. You've got to look at what's happening, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to understand what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Even, did you hear our first caller from Australia? He said that everything was locked down with masks, but when it became election time, all of a sudden the masks disappeared. They know it's a joke, just like the governor of Pennsylvania caught on a hot mic laughing and joking about the political theater. Lady Justice with a great comment in the chat room. Nice to see you again, Lady Justice. Not many people know about this. We're going to take a break at midnight. Not many people know about this, and we'll come back for the second hour. Not many people understand the man Elvis Presley. I wrote a book about this called what was that called? It was called Assault on Aquarius, I think, and it talked about Elvis Presley. It talked about Paul McCartney. We talked about this on Chris Jericho's great show. Chris Jericho, Le Champion. AEW, great guy. Talk is Jericho. Elvis, says Lady Justice, tried to fight the powers that be, using him as an asset along with his handlers. An incredible man beyond the music and persona. She is so right. It was actually Elvis's mother, Gladys Presley, Gladys Love Presley, by the way. That's very significant. Who was probably the first notable victim of remote MK Ultra mind control in the United States of America. And having leveraged Gladys, they leveraged Elvis as well and took him from the lovable, love everybody, be yourself, be a rebel, but still be a decent person, into the guy that was hooked on multiple, pharmaceuticals, although most of them, and that's a long story, but Elvis did want to do more. Elvis did want to do better. And several times he was on the edge of doing that and got that MK Ultra reactivated in him. And the same thing happened to Paul McCartney afterwards. So, Lady Justice, it doesn't really surprise me when that comes from you. It really surprises me to see anybody know that. But you, I'm like, well, of course she knows that. And I wonder if Paladin and you would be up for maybe a talk about that at some point. The assault on Aquarius, Elvis Presley, Paul McCartney, and it even segues into the Tate LaBianca, quote unquote, murders Charlie Manson and the destruction of the 60s in the United States of America. Shout out from Neil to Jaron from Jaronism and Dave Weiss. He says that my recent chats with them have been awesome. I do agree. Those are two good guys. Do we agree on everything? Nope. But we agree to disagree, and we agree to combine where we are in agreement and just kind of leave the other stuff. I'm on the talk. That's Talk is Jericho, Lionel. I think it was called something about it was Halloween, Spooky Elvis and the Beatles. I think it's called something like that. And by the way, Chris Jericho is a real gentleman. He is the hardest working entertainer that I know. And he's a great guy, and he's doing a great work. And hats off to Chris Jericho. Chris knows that I lovingly appropriate. I am le champion of late night, with apologies to Chris Jericho. Lady Justice says, absolutely. I'm sure we can discuss that. Ask Paladin, and that can be one of the things that we talk about. And yes, Presley, McCartney, Manson. It's all connected. Paradigm 12. You're surprised I've done a show with Jaron? I don't know if you know this or not, Paradigm, but I'm sort of a big deal. And of course, I'm sort of joking. I'm going to close the phone line for a moment, and we are going to take a break. And this break is going to be brought to you by one of our great sponsors. That would be Focused Life Force Energy. And they've been kind enough to supply me with some great information that I think you are going to really, really appreciate about Focused Life Force information, or Focused Life Force. Boy, it's late. Focused Life Force Energy. Powerful stuff. And if you're wondering what it is, if you're wondering what it does, well, let me help you understand. And I think that you're really going to appreciate what you're about to hear for just a couple minutes while I take care of some other business. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. This is Late Night in the Heartland. We invite you to unindoctrinate overnight, and I'll be right back.
FLFE subscriptions include the brain optimization program. This is brain optimization for our modern world, which today is including more and more EMF or electromagnetic fields, and we look at those as either positive electromagnetic fields, which the earth and our bodies produce those, or negative or consciousness lowering electromagnetic fields. And that's really what we're concerned with. So this brain optimization program is designed, along with the rest of FLFE, to provide more life force energy, or as Chinese medicine calls it, qi, to the body. And the body is optimized through the flow of qi and life force energy throughout the body. And the brain optimization program provides more of this energy to the brain, particularly where it's most needed.
The FLFE environment is supported through something we call programs. The programs are positive declarative statements that are measured using consciousness kinesiology as taught or explored by Dr. David Hawkins. And those programs are very high level of consciousness thought forms. If you're familiar with the Hawkins map, they're at 999 out of 1,000 or higher. So there's a lot of work that goes into those. It's a very labor-intensive process. It's a labor of love, but it does take some time and effort. So they're very specifically crafted. And in the brain optimization program, they are oriented to optimize the brain. So during the day, the FLFE programs support increased functioning in the brain. Increased functioning are things like increased concentration and stamina, so we can study longer and retain more information, or be more present for those meetings or conversations. At night, the FLFE environment supports enhanced rebuilding of the physical aspects of the brain, which is very much in alignment with the innate intelligence of the body. We just use the environment to enhance that so that our quality of life is increased.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our great sponsor, Focused Life Force Energy. Everything they said is true. That's the two founders of the company. So I appreciate you taking a look at them. And if you do want to take advantage of that service, you can go to jeffreydaugherty.com. You see it scrolling on the screen, on the banner below. And that will help you to get either a 30-day trial or a great rate on Focus Life Force Energy. It's less than a mediocre cup of coffee a week at your national coffee house that's going to make you put on a mask, and you probably have to look at them wearing a BLM t-shirt. So take a look at it. It's great stuff, ladies and gentlemen. The phone line is back open, and you can call me at 813-534-0083. We're moving into our second and final hour. We don't have any rules here except if you call, when you call, please be polite and please be interesting. And please turn down your sound before I pick up the phone. That way we don't have to have our ears blasted out. And tomorrow, guess what? New phone system, and it'll be much, much better for you and much, much better for all of us. We appreciate all of you being here tonight. And my goodness, this is just too much. Verna Johnson, you are way, way, way too kind. Verna Johnson, ladies and gentlemen. Verna Johnson with a $40, makes me want to holler, $40 Verna Johnson Super Pal Chat. Thank you so much, Verna. See, now the phone system's only not $460. Verna Johnson, thank you so much for that great Super Pal Chat. And that will pay for the phone system for 1 month. That will pay for the phone system for 1 month. So when you're enjoying this phone system over the next month, I want you to remember Verna Johnson for the rest of October, because Verna Johnson has made it possible for all of us to enjoy a much more efficient and happy, and just it make us more happy because we don't have to listen to all of those silly noises, ladies and gentlemen. The phone line's open, 813-534 what is it? 0083. It'll be a new number. You got to learn a new number. There's going to be a new number tomorrow, but that's okay. We can deal with having to learn a new number. And folks, I know that we see Cynthia now and again. Cynthia is sleeping right now because she is the brains of our operation. And Cynthia gives me a lot of great stuff. And during the breaks between calls, we can go and enjoy some of Cynthia's wisdom. But here we go. It's late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hello, Jeffrey. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you super duper clear, wall to wall and treetop tall.
Awesome. It doesn't sound like the shithole that I live in. I'm maybe sliding into a higher dimension already with calling you.
Hey, fantastic. That's what it's about. And, you know, that's true. When we get together, we do raise our vibration, and we do become, I think, literally probably into a higher state of being, and maybe literally a higher dimension. What you got for me tonight besides that truth bomb?
Oh, so that was awesome. That was an awesome summarization right there. I didn't even see that coming. But my name is Polly. Polly Langdale. I live in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota, actually. And
Polly from St. Pauli.
Yeah. I don't know if you blocked me or I've been top blocked before, but I've been following since like 2016.
What is your name? What is your username on YouTube?
Opposite World 1965.
Opposite World 1965. I will go through it just for you because you made a dirty joke. I will go ahead. Opposite World 1965.
Yes, I believe so.
All right, I will go through tomorrow, and if you're blocked, I'll unblock you.
Oh, that'd be awesome, because you never works when you're having like a really crappy day, and your own family, they think I'm talking to you years back, but But then you go and you comment something where you're like right in the zone, it's like, and then you're like getting ignored. And then I got it and sat up there for 2 years from every, and I don't go to a lot of places. I've gotten back in here after a little bit of a break in between, but I was with you before you were with you. Not with you, but you know. Like,
Yes.
so anyway, I know you, I love you. We've been through a lot together. You don't know that, but you've gotten me through some times. And I am going to get right to the point here, and we won't cut right to the chase. Jeffrey, what concerns me, we'll just start with this. I guess I haven't heard it brought up yet, but you know how the fuckery on our planet is pretty thick.
Yep. And try to take a deep breath and just slow down a little bit because you're garbling, because you're talking so fast. So just relax a little bit and just share with us. You said there's something that concerns you, and I think you said is some of the fuckery going on this planet.
I did, and I guess one thing I think people should know, and you know, nothing is 100% proven fact. We all know that, nothing at all in this world. But I've done a lot of and been researching for a long time, you know, and I've been hardcore the last 5 years. First thing is, you know, I hear a lot about Kamala Harris, Edward Harris, and I guess he or she, let's put it right out there. There's no, honest to God, at that level, there are no two genders that were born that sex and are still that sex. They're all transgendered or pansexual or you know, it's trannies, there's kind of thing in the past. It's androgynous and what is it someone's looking for? Although I got it written down right here. Pansexual. Are you with me?
I hear you. I know there's a lot of people that feel exactly like you do.
Okay, well, you know, I guess for what it's worth, being a game and being as high as these people are, like all of them, I think pretty much all, you have to do that. Even 33rd degree Masons and above, they have to be both sexes or neither, you know. But anyway,
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, well, it's super. It's been in the book, like what's his name, Tight, you know, the Freemason. There isn't so much crap, you know, Jeff. I don't think we've ever been on the side of good or. I don't think anyone. I don't think these parasites, call them parasites, they haven't been on us a long time ago, and I don't think we even know what it's like to be honestly free or, you know, whatever the word is. But
wow,
a big deal, a lot that has to, and this freaked me out. After learning that the Pope was not Catholic, you know, that was kind of shocked at what that did into my head, that he's a Satanist, you know. Well, anyway, after that big shocker, my next big one was finding out about the movie stars and all our favorite singers and all that. And learning that all the movie stars and all your celebrities are all, every one of them is not who you think they are. The males were born females and the females were born males.
Every single one, Polly, every single one.
And if you want to double check this too on your own, because I was daring people, and you know, I dare you to find someone with the sex that they really are. You know, it's never happened all the way back to Lucille Ball and, you know, Mae West and Sarah Foster, God, even Sally Field, every one of them. Yeah. Okay, listen.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a website. Yeah, it's called Mr. E. Mr. and then they said capital E. And he's got a website with, I think it's called Transpocalypse.
How do we know that Mr. E isn't Mrs. E? Have you ever thought about that?
Well, maybe he'd be better to judge then if he was, you know. I guess you have to know, you have to wear the shoes to know exactly what happened. But
right.
It was him, or there's another dude out there. I guess there's other people. You'll see if you bring it up on the web.
Okay.
Yeah, I was real disappointed in learning that. That was hard for me. But it's important for people to know that this kind of deceit is part of their game.
Wow.
And it makes the demons, or whatever you want to call them, it makes whatever moves into them and takes over them, possesses them. It makes them an easier vehicle because once your sex is messed with, you know, you're a mess. Things can move into you and out of you as they basically please without your, you know, without your permission, and it makes them more vulnerable to the demons. But that's what they want.
That's some fascinating information. I appreciate you sharing that with us. Do you have anything else you'd like to add before we move on to another caller?
Let me think about something quick. I did have one other comment about what's the stuff. But yeah, I think it's really important for people. Like, I love music, and I've always been into music and big time. If you ever get bored, all the stories about the music, with the backwards basket,
Right.
the devil. Okay, just look up his name is John Todd, Todd, and he's an Illuminati member of the family. Supposedly left the family and went out and telling the truth and all this shit. But turns out in the end, he was in the Illuminati the whole time, so it's kind of like one thing. But you learn about the music industry shit that you will not freaking ever believe to be true. And I won't even go into detail, but
Gotcha.
Music, and those all black magic spelled as numbers. Remember that the gematria is not a joke. The number thing is so intense and important.
Whoops, looks like we lost her. Thank you for calling in, Polly from St. Paul, Minnesota. Hope that we'll hear from you again. Just make sure that when you call back that you maybe turn your volume down in the back a little bit and just relax a little more. I know it's exciting. I know it's amazing. You're on late night in the heartland. It's a great moment in your life. It's a great moment in my life that you're here as well. But just relax, take a breath, and just talk slowly and plainly. It's just a guy talking. It's just a person talking to a person. And we have a lot of our friends here that want to share in the discussion. I really appreciate it. Sorry that we lost you. It is, we'll have a better phone system tomorrow. It's about 12:15. We got 45 minutes left in the show. And the phone line is free and clear. Again, it's 813-534-0083. Again, we ask you to thumbs up or thumbs down this video, this podcast, and subscribe to the channel and make sure that you are subscribed, even if you think you are. Don't forget about the Super Pal chat, and we appreciate those that have already chipped in and helping make things easier and better for everybody. Cynthia is such a huge part of what we do here. She's not really an out front person. She's not really in front of the camera person, although I think she does a really nice job when she does come on. But Cynthia is a very, very diligent researcher. Cynthia is always looking for something. Cynthia is always researching something. She's always finding something that I don't find, because she looks in a lot of places, looks under a lot of rocks that I don't look under. And she shares a lot of great stuff. And in the breaks, between calls, we'll try to share some of that. But it looks like Facebook or not Facebook, but Twitter's having a little problem, so I can't get that one. Cynthia sent this to me, and so many times, even from people within our community, we hear, "Oh, what has Trump done? What has Trump done?" And I'm just going to give you a couple of things. And it's actually a list as long as my arm that will tell you of some things that President Trump has done. He's recently signed 3 bills to benefit Native peoples. One gives compensation to the Spokane tribe for the loss of their lands in the mid-1900s. One funds Native language programs. And the third gives federal recognition to the Little Shell tribe of the Chippewa Indians in Montana. President Trump finalized the creation of the Space Force as our 6th military branch. He signed a law to make cruelty to animals a federal felony so that animal abusers face tougher consequences. Why did he not get the PETA Man of the Year award? Why would that be? President Trump aiding animals. These are flat facts, ladies and gentlemen. Violent crime has fallen every year since President Trump has been in office, after rising the 2 years before he was elected. And where are my stoners at? Where are my 420 peeps at? President Trump signed a bill making CBD and hemp legal. I know that ain't got nothing to do with stoners and all that, but it's kind of a joke. It's kind of a joke. And Trump gave the EPA, which is the Environmental Protection Agency, $100 million to fix the water problem in Flint, Michigan. Did anybody hear about President Trump giving $100 million to fix the infrastructure problem in Flint, Michigan? Obama didn't give shit to fix shit in no damn place, including Flint, Michigan. I saw something come across on the chat that I wanted to address. Who was it? Jerry Smith saying 10 days of darkness. You know, I have a problem with these kind of things. I really do. I know some of you love this stuff. It's so speculative. It's so sexy. You love to talk about it. You love to think about it. But, you know, you go back to the 3 days of darkness. Joe Sapiens says President Trump believes all lives matter, including animals. I do. You go back to the 3 days of darkness, ladies and gentlemen. That's Catholic doctrine, Jesuit Catholic prophetic doctrine. But yet you hear all of these great Christians and all of these great prophets, quote unquote, talking about this 3 days of darkness. I know it's a different thing, the 10 days of darkness. If it happens, I'll be really, really, really surprised, really, really, really shocked. I don't think they have to do 10 days of darkness to do what they need to get done. I think it's like the rapture. I think it's 88 reasons why Jesus is coming in 1988. I think it's, you know, Jehovah's Witnesses. I just think it's more speculative, prophetic nonsense, ladies and gentlemen. Speculative, prophetic nonsense. And we ask you not to promote other shows, because if they want to promote their show here, we can work out something with them. And we ask you not to do that. And we will probably remove your thing if you do that. Probably. So we don't want to do that. The phone line is open. And the phone line is 813-534-0083. You can call in, and we are looking forward to it. Tracy says the 10 days of darkness are the days added besides the 2,000 years when the Gregorian calendar converted. Okay, that's interesting. You still haven't sold me yet, Tracy. And when you disagree with the oracle, you run a risk. But I'm just not sold. I'm just not sold, and that's okay. We don't have to sell each other, but it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It is what it is. Cassie loves the show. No need to apologize, Cassie. This is new, and it takes a while sometimes for us to all learn what we do and what we don't do, and that's super okay with me. We already talked about this, but it's worth a second look, just so you know. Well, why won't Joe Biden? Why isn't it amazing that Joe Biden has all of a sudden decided that he doesn't want to do another debate with our great president? And it's the COVID, but President Trump's going to test clean. President Trump even has the antibodies. There's nothing to worry about. But you wonder, why does Joe not want to do another debate? He's already got the huge pupils, the glossy eyes, because he's being propped up, as we see here, through intravenous methamphetamine. We had Ken the scientist come in and talk about that and pretty much confirm it. Many medical professionals confirm it. And you can't pump up an old dude like him like that very often, or you're going to lose him. I agree. We don't need a president that requires Adderall, which is basically methamphetamine, and a voice in his ear. He was being fed, you can see the wire here. He's being fed information into his ear, which is why President Trump said, let's search each other before the debate. Why did he ask for drugs? Now you know. Why did he ask for a check of earpieces? Well, now you know, ladies and gentlemen. Why does Joe Biden not want to debate again? Because Joe Biden barely got away with what he got away with in the first debate, and they're afraid of losing Joe. They're afraid of losing Joe if they have to pump him up again with the Adderall, with the methamphetamines. He's an old guy. He's barely hanging on, and they don't want to lose him. They don't want to lose him. Plus, not only were his pupils huge, but as Tracy's pointing out, that the Google contacts Joe Biden was very, very likely wearing, and it's basically, the Google glasses where you would see on the glass like the internet or a teleprompter. It's basically a high-tech teleprompter. Joe wears the Google lenses, and it's a teleprompter. You actually see the words right there. And Joe Sapiens asked brilliantly, please don't confuse him with that Joe. Now, here's Cassie. I don't know if she's trying to get on my last nerve or not, but Cassie says, and the phone line is open, 813-534-0083. We're just about to go into our last half hour of the program. Cassie says that she thinks Aleister Crowley, Ron Parsons, and L. Ron Hubbard ushered in an era of evil and darkness. That's a thought. We'll get back to that thought after this call. It's late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Jeffrey?
I'm here. What's on your mind?
Jeffrey, hi, it's Dolly. Okay.
Hi, Dolly.
So for starters, I'm an optimist. I'm not religious. So I believe, the concept of the cup being half filled. But since you brought the subject of darkness, yes?
I'm here.
My concern is this. There's so much going on out there, the energies that's going on there, we understand besides the political atmosphere, there's a spiritual warfare, right?
I don't know if I concur with the whole spiritual warfare thing, but I understand what you're saying. Continue on.
Well, let me ask you this. Well, define spiritual warfare, because my whole thing is, there are people with good intentions and there's people with bad intentions.
100% agree with you.
Yeah, so that's my concept, spiritual warfare.
But then we're on the same page.
Okay, good. Okay. So the thing is, there's been so much depression, right? The censorship and depression. And me being a practitioner, a Chinese practitioner, we honor nature. So we're seeing the movement of the seasons changing. So we're going to fall and winter.
Mm-hmm.
So that there's less light. And then so, of course, this correlates into the holidays. And so my concern is a lot of people's psychological warfare, mindset. It's heavy duty. And I just want to bring awareness to that we should be there for each other. What your show offers, I'm not sure if Heartland represents the Western Heartland, but to me, when I see Heartland, I see you communicate heart to heart with people.
Wow, Dolly, that's awesome. That's awesome.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So may I say, since you're going to New Florida, because I had a feeling the line and the telephone ringer was not going to work, and it's awesome that you're switching over to the telephone forum. So may I just offer some suggestions?
Sure.
That that you're finding people reaching out to you because they want to be heard, right?
Right.
I think there's a lot of suffering. And so instead of saying, when they get uncomfortable or when they get shy, instead of saying person to person, just say, we're having a heart to heart.
Oh, that's great. That is worth the price of admission. I love it.
Okay. And address the trolls. We're going to do this. So your rules should be not to be polite, to be respectful. And the people that don't show respect, it speaks of their lack of self-respect.
It does.
Right? So that's how we address the trolls. And they're not to be here on this forum. What you offer is individual healing. You really do. You're like a high priest. So,
well, thank you very much.
Yeah, you are. So my concern is this. The 10 days of darkness, we do understand October. They're holding a lot of dark rituals. Halloween is falls in October. So let's just be mindful of the subject and the fact that does exist. Fair?
Dolly, I'm just sitting here thinking that's more than fair. This is a really excellent call. This could easily, with two people of a different mind, could be an argument, but here we are meeting each other heart to heart. I'm hearing what your heart says. You're hearing what my heart says. And it is really, it's kind of a sappy word, but it really is beautiful what's occurring right now.
Right, because earlier you were talking about thinking, like, two mindsets and ways of thinking. No, it goes beyond that. You're highly intellectual, you're highly mercurial, but you drop into your heart and you hear people.
You're right.
And then you process your thoughts. So this is not about having your channel grow, because that's the obvious. What we want to do is have the voices, reach out, have the ripple effect of voices reaching out exponentially.
Dolly, that's fantastic.
The healing's going to be necessary even after the election, Jeffrey,
It is.
When I sensed this from the beginning, and I've been following this over a year, what I sensed was genocide. And I don't mean to be dark, but when I speak of genocide, what I mean is that there are people that don't have compassion towards others, and it's just that dark energy that's taking over. So
you're right, Dolly. You're right. Do you have any? Well, you're right. I agree 100%. And it is really good for us, even if we don't believe in a literal 10 days of darkness. We are in a period that a lot of different people, and if there are entities, are trying to manifest darkness on our world, and we are probably already experienced far more than 10 days of darkness. So I appreciate you putting it in our minds and in our hearts to think, to understand, and to be aware. So that's a beautiful thought. Dolly, do you have anything else to share with me?
No, just continue what you're doing, and I want you to do some math. You keep speaking of trolls, okay? If you just count the number of likes that you get versus your dislikes, come on, do the math.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Dolly, I appreciate you so much, and
Okay.
You're absolutely right. Thank you for calling.
Okay, we love you.
Love you too. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.
And we've got about a half an hour left in the program. I'm going to shut down the lines again real quickly. We'll take our second break, and I'll go refresh my coffee. And I want you to listen to these people, because they're good people. Ken the science guy. I call him Ken the spiritual scientist. He's such a great guy, and he has a really great product, and it doesn't really get I think the respect that it deserves, and it has absolutely changed my life. And it's good for you to hear why it's changed my life, but it's also good for you to hear science and reality and real reasons why these things work. It's just not all fluffy bunny stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And I want you to listen real quickly to what Ken has to say here, because it is transformative information.
Can carbon-60 increase telomere length?
Yes, carbon-60 can increase telomere length significantly. Telomeres are a biological measure of aging. They're little DNA sequences that wrap the ends of your chromosomes, and as each time your cells divide, they become less and less until they can't divide, and that's when you die. So, in one of our people we work with, they had when they were 54, they went and had a telomere test done, and they had telomeres characteristic of a 53-year-old, which is not surprising. After about 3.5 years of taking C60, they went back and got another telomere test, and they had telomeres characteristic of a 38-year-old. So they had practically put 20 years younger, according to telomeres, as a measurement of aging.
That is measurable results right there.
It is measurable results. And we've had other people who've taken telomere tests after using C60 for quite a while, and they all have ages much lower than their biological age.
So telomeres actually measure your age.
Yes, it's one of the few scientific measurements of aging.
For more information about carbon-60, visit c60purplepower.com.
And when you do, use the code TCW10 to get a great discount. And we appreciate you guys so very much. No. Seriously, guys. No. I love you. Sit down. That's enough. No, really, come on. Come on now, you're too kind. Sit down. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. It's late night in the heartland. We invite you to unindoctrinate overnight. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty. You know me as a Christian whistleblower, but here we're just people talking heart to heart. I loved what Dolly had to say. Dolly was talking some real world stuff that's very, very helpful to all of us. We've got 29 minutes left. That's an 11. So we invite you to call in. The phone line's 813-534-0083. And you set the topic. Be respectful and be interesting. And we will look forward to hearing from you very, very soon. Oh, we were talking about, somebody said that it was L. Ron Hubbard and Ron Parsons. Well, it's Jack Parsons, number one, and that they ushered in an era of evil. Let it be known and let it be said and let it be realized that Jack Parsons and L. Ron Hubbard were actively engaged together and partaking in some occultic rituals. Most people that have studied it believe that they did, in fact, open a portal just before Roswell happened and just before the birth of Hillary Clinton. Interestingly enough, L. Ron Hubbard, according to my studies, and I studied him exhaustively, he was there learning, researching, understanding, and I have been places that would shock you, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know that your Christian whistleblower, your late night in the Heartland host, was actually initiated as a high priest into a Wiccan secret society? Yes, it was me. And lovely, sweet Cynthia was there observing. Was it a good idea overall? No, it was a pretty bad idea. Did I learn some things that I still continue to use in my spiritual practice today? Yes. Did Parsons and Crowley and L. Ron Hubbard never met Aleister Crowley? Did Parsons and Crowley bring in some evil? Yeah, absolutely. Tracy says that curators of ideas travel in interesting circles, and they do. Ron Hubbard studied everything that he could. And the best way to study things is to immerse yourself. Joe, you Silver Eagle, you can't be serious, can you? You're really going to ask me if I do blood sacrifice? I'm the guy that talks about the fear and guilt blood magic control matrix. I'm the guy that talks against blood sacrifice. I'm the guy that talks against the old rugged cross and the bloody cross. I'm the guy that talks against praying the blood and talking the blood. That is silly, 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 ladies and gentlemen. And no, of course I don't. I don't do any kind of sacrifice. Why would I? My idea of sacrifice is this fast that I'm in. I'm sacrificing some stuff that I normally like to eat, but don't. So, no, that's a silly question. But did Crowley bring evil into the world? Yes, he did. Did Parsons bring evil into the world? Yes, he did. Did Ron Hubbard have a ancillary observatory part in it? Yeah, probably. Why isn't this showing up? This I wonder if I can hear him. It's late night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. Can you hear me? Oh, wait a second. I got my sound muted. So now you can hear me. Welcome to the program.
Hi, welcome me back again. It's Holly again.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I heard them talk about the Jack Parsons and your boy Lafayette Ron Hubbard.
Lafayette Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, what a name. I have to throw this in there. Did you ever hear that Ron Hubbard ended up with Parsons' woman? Is that how it went? Yeah, it was that way. She left Parsons for, Lafayette. And I never heard anything about, you had mentioned somebody took in, or nobody knows what happened to him in the end? To L. Ron Hubbard?
What happened to him at the end?
Yeah, you said he got kidnapped or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Ron and Jack Parsons did this occult ritual trying to call in what they called the perfect woman, and their perfect woman for what they wanted to do was the whore of Babylon is what they were calling. So this lady shows up the next day. If you ask me, did their ritual bring her in? I say no. She just happened to show up. You got to understand, Parsons had a mansion there in LA, Hollywood, Beverly Hills area. And it was kind of a gathering point for all of these, like us, all these crazy, nutty people would show up and hang out together. So it wasn't unusual at all for chicks or hot chicks to show up. But they thought that, oh, we did the ritual last night and she showed up. So that lady showed up and she was with Jack for a while. And then she decided she wanted to be with Ron. Absolutely true. Now, what Ron did at the end of his life is, in 1972, he was kidnapped by the U.S. deep state, and I've done a video, I think, which extensively proves this. He was kidnapped by the United States deep state. He was held captive unto his death, and they used Dionetics technology to reverse engineer what we now know as MK Ultra mind control, and they basically kidnapped and killed Lafayette Ronald Hubbard.
Wow. And it's crazy because I did also, I wasn't the year 1946. Is that the year Donald Trump was born, I believe? And June 14th of 1946, am I correct?
I don't know for sure, but you're right. You're definitely in the neighborhood.
Okay, well, regardless, I guess, what year, that exact same year, and now I believe Aleister Crowley had never met, a Lafayette, and I don't know about Parsons, but long story short here is I have heard that, and you looked it up the fact that I hate to even be going to say this. I love my president. I really love him. And really positive. I come across a few things I was putting out, looking at, and one of these things is that, anyway, Donald Trump was born under a blood moon and an eclipse in the same freaking
right
24-hour cycle. Did you ever hear that?
I have been made aware of that, and I kind of say, oh, cool story.
Yeah, well, like Barbara Bush is out to Crowley's daughter. I told you look at him.
Yeah, I know that theory's out there. I haven't seen proof of it, but it's certainly interesting.
Okay, well, I remember 30 years ago waiting tables in downtown Stillwater where I worked at, in a cafe. I got a lot of psychic forms. People would come up from the shops downtown, and I hear a lot of stuff. And I heard a lot of stuff now that is registering that's ringing true that I heard 30 years ago, but I forgot that. I heard Aleister Crowley, and I don't worship him, but I'm reading up on the parasites. And Aleister Crowley always said he would come back, and he supposedly was talking. He died right before Donald Trump was born, like a couple of months before Donald Trump was born.
Dolly, let me put your mind at rest. Let me answer. You're on the right. You're sniffing down the right trail, but I think you found the wrong coon. Donald Trump was born just after the death of the great General George S. Patton. That's who Donald Trump is, Patton.
Well, that's true. Yeah, that's another crazy one. I don't know about you, but sometimes you do look at the pictures, you know what I'm saying? Like Nicolas Cage now, and a picture of someone 150.
Yep, I've seen those.
The doppelganger thing or whatever.
It's amazing.
It is in the doppelganger, like we all the twin, and I've heard also that people have been cloning us randomly for all of our lives. Since 1938, they did begin cloning officially. 1938, some think they were doing it in the 1800s.
Crazy stuff, Polly. Crazy stuff. Hey, thank.
1,000 years, so I'm like a dog man or a werewolf. I'm totally there. I believe there's a lot of shit walking around that we don't even have a clue about, and I'd rather not.
I agree with you, Polly. Hey, listen, thanks so much. Thanks so much for calling in. We really appreciate all of your great insights tonight. Don't mean to cut you off, even though I kind of did. We just want to make room for some other folks that haven't had a chance to call. Great points. Really, really great points. Very, very interesting points. Donald Trump, if you want to find reasons to hate him, you can. If you want to find reasons to love him, you can. I really think that the Trump Patton connection is very, very real. That's my opinion. Can I prove it? No. But I do think, along with Chuck, that Donald Trump is the reincarnation of General George S. Patton, and he has come back to finish the job. Talk about, pardon me, interesting coincidences. He's the 45th president, and I guess he was born in 1945. Donald Trump birthday is June 14th, 1946. Well, that's a good theory shot to hell, but it was fun. See why we fact check, ladies and gentlemen, because every now and then, and of course the oracle's right on it. He was born in 46. Yeah, absolutely. So he was born in 1946, ladies and gentlemen, 1945, but still interesting speculations, and it's all right to speculate as long as you do check yourself before you wreck yourself, and that's okay. And if you wreck yourself here, it's a very kind and a gentle wrecking, and you don't have to worry about anything. Like Chuck says, he's close. That was close. I'll take close. Close is better than way far off, right? So the phone line is open. We got about another 15 minutes of show here tonight. We will be back tomorrow on Friday night. I'm undecided about whether we should do it on the weekend or not. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you want to do the weekend show as well, or do we want to just stick with a Monday through Friday show? Feel free to weigh in on that in the chat room. And if you want to call in, it's 813-534-0083. The last night with our single phone line, we'll be able to have a phone line open for you tomorrow that will take multiple calls. And of course, we thank the great $40 super chat that we got earlier, and that's going to help us pay for the first month. And that was from Verna Johnson. Verna, thank you very, very much. We appreciate you. And I'm going to have a program tomorrow on another aspect of creating yourself with Dianetics, looking more deeply at the Engram and how they work, and getting into how that we can free ourselves from them. And I'm telling you, folks, this is something that will change your life. Joe says that Trump/Patton came back to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and he's already out of bubble gum. And he also wants to finish what was left behind to drain the swamp. I'd say to give you a break. Love time with Cynthia. Absolutely. She's delightful, and you will be seeing Cynthia again. Don't worry about that. I can guarantee it. Harry Christie, nice to see you, brother. And Harry says, base it on the numbers and maybe a topic basis. Yeah, I'm only going to have one number, I think. It'll just be one number because of price-wise, to be honest with you. Of course, I'm always honest with you, so that's kind of a redundant thing to say. And here we go. It's late night in the Heartland, and you're live with Jeffrey Daugherty.
Hey, what's going on, brother? It's Chuck.
Hey, Chuck, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I just busted my ass for 16 hours straight, man.
Did you really?
Yeah, I just fought through the pain, you know.
Well, that's what you got to do, man. You just got to fight through that pain. And I just wanted to, before you talk, I just wanted to give you a, where did it go? I wanted to give you a proper intro, but I lost my proper intro for you. Where the heck did it go? Anyway, go ahead, Chuck. Talk to us.
Oh, well, I came in late. I was honestly just wanting to see if you had anything you wanted to talk about and see what I think about it.
Well, I've got your, oh, here we go. What do you think about this right here, Chuck? Just let me know. And I hope I got the right guy, but let me know what you think about this.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, Chuck?
Oh, yeah, that's an honor, man. Thank you.
You down with that, Chuck?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that was 2011.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's Chuck on the drums right there. This is the Sick Prepper drum solo. I'm loving it, Chuck. I'm loving it.
Oh, I appreciate that, too.
Let's let the people hear a little bit of this. Listen to this, my friends. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't get that from a drum machine. Chuck is flat tearing it up. Chuck, you're too kind. I can't even play the radio, brother.
Thank you, sir. You said you were in a band, and I actually went back and watched one of your previous shows that you had with Benny Eastwood today.
If I said I was in a band, I was either joking or telling a lie, because I've never been in a band. I can't sing. I can't play nothing.
When you did your stand-up, you said you were in a band. You made the joke. I got the joke. It was hilarious, but I thought you actually were in a band.
No, I was not in a band, and there's no band that would want me. Trust me.
Well, you do impersonations, so do I.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
Yeah.
You got to work on them, though, and I haven't spent enough time really working. I mean,
It's pretty easy to me. I'm pretty good.
you know, some of
I
them.
like it.
Some of them never leave you, you know. Chuck, you know, it's kind of tough living with Hillary, but you know, it kind of is all right too. You know, it's been fun. It's hard. I did not. I can't get the gravel. I just had hot coffee. Yeah. I didn't. The hot coffee. You got to have that gravelly voice to do a good.
I guess Obama didn't either, did he?
No, I haven't really worked on Obama either. So I don't like Obama.
Well,
I really
he's in
don't.
the past, so leave him be. He's
Yeah,
fine.
we'll move on. We'll move on. Yeah, you probably Trump 2020. Absolutely, Chuck. I really appreciate it. And I was trying to use the drum solo when I opened the show, and it's just, you know, just shows the thumbnail just for a minute, but I forgot it's muted. So I was playing your drum solo, but it was muted and nobody heard it. So sorry about that.
Oh, well, that's okay, man. Just try again. I appreciate that, man. I'm sorry I came late. I had to stay an hour later, so I actually worked 17 hours today.
Wow, that's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, I was almost asleep, so I caught this. I checked, because I was looking in, it usually shows the feed early, and I didn't see it. And I was like, well, I know he always has the show. And then I came and checked, and I was like, holy shit, he said 15 minutes left, so I figured I'd have to call in.
Well, Chuck, get yourself some rest, and we'll see you again tomorrow night or soon. Hey, do you think I should do the show on the weekends too, or take a couple days off?
Man, that's up to you. Follow your heart like I do, man.
Will do, and that's great advice. Chuck, appreciate it. We'll talk to you again soon, my brother.
Thanks, Jeff. Love y'all.
Love you too. Bye-bye. And you know what? Here I am saying love you. And I don't usually do that, but I just can't help it because it's true. I really do. I really do. And I know that you might think that's silly and all that, but you know, we've been through a lot together, some of us. We've been through a lot together. And I mean, you know, it's one kind of person that'll show up and look at your video, but it's another kind of person that'll be up at 12:49 Central Time and call into a show and be here at a show. And it touches me. It really does. It moves me. And we're the kind of people that are going to change this world. You know what? We're the kind of people that are changing this world. I say we're the last generation of real humans. And everybody always says, well, Jeff, what do you mean we're the last generation of real humans? Think about how long we've had these chemtrails going. Think about the unmitigated assault of these GMOs. Think about the complete sedentary lifestyle with the video games have wrecked our young men. Snapchat has wrecked our young women. Think about the rampant obesity. Think about the plummeting testosterone levels and virility of our males. We're the last generation of real humans. And you know what? The deep state, they miscalculated by just a few years. If they'd have waited another 10 years, we would have gone silently into that dark night. We would have. But they didn't figure on Triona Ryan. They didn't. They didn't figure on Jama Barker. They forgot about Chuck Touchton. They forgot about Christopher Brown. They forgot about Eliza. They forgot about Cassie. They forgot about 10,000 Lakes BC, Tracy Dyer, Silver Eagle, PJP. They didn't even put in their mind Paradigm 12. They didn't think about Billy Power Max or Mr. MGTOW. They forgot Get Dagger. They forgot Joe Sapiens. They forgot Harry Christie. And that was the source. I'm a badass, John Price. That's the source of their mistake. They forgot about us. And earmuffs, they done fucked up. Because we're the good people. We just want to be left alone. We just want to be left alone. And now they got us pissed off, and they're about to reap the whirlwind. I hope it's just an electoral landslide by President Trump. I really do. I hope they don't have to reap the whirlwind of the wrath of those that just want to be left alone and have been pushed too far. I really don't want to have to go out and whip the ass of these little pasty Antifa bitches. I don't really want to have to go out and take down these BLM bitches. I really don't want to. I just want to be left alone. I come in peace, but if you come in another frame of mind, we're not going to start any fights, but we'll damn sure finish one if you make us. We're people of peace. We're people of love. It's late night in the heartland. We got room and time for one more call. Angela Wiseheart, they forgot about her too. She says, loving these talks. Thank you so much, Angela. It means a lot. And Jameis says, oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Tracy encouraging us not to look around for a creator, but to just look in. Joe's going, night. Good night. Thank you, Joe. Thank you for calling in and elevating our consciousness. You really have. Chuck wants to bow out with Trump 2020, MAGA. And Cynthia wanted me to clean up my language. So, there's another word that I've used too much, she says. So I'll change it to, we're a bunch of MAGA mother brothers. Yes, we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are MAGA'd up around here. We believe that our great president has helped us make America great. And we believe that by combining with each other and voting him 4 more years, we will keep America great and usher in the great American century, ladies and gentlemen. One more call. We've got 7 minutes. If you want to hit it real quickly. If not, we'll be back tomorrow with the brand new phone system. No more annoying rings. We'll be able to stack people up on hold. I think there'll be a hold message. I don't think you'll be able to hear the broadcast, however, when you're on hold, but you can just be there and be content and know that you will be answered as soon as we get off the call that we're on. So I appreciate all of you being here. I appreciate all of you doing what you do. I appreciate all of you bringing we had some crazy shit we talked about tonight, didn't we? We had some crazy shit we talked about. And that's what this is for, is crazy shit. And I loved, was it Dolly that said, or was it Polly? We had Dolly, we had Polly, about talking heart to heart. And that's really what we're doing. We're talking heart to heart, ladies and gentlemen, heart to heart. And somebody sent, I think it was Keto Rocks, and I'll be on their great podcast if they have room a couple weeks from next Wednesday. Here it is, the last call. You are the last call on Late Night in the Heartland. You're live with Jeffrey Daugherty. What do you have for us? Do you have anything for us? Don't be shy. I feel kind of let down. I was looking forward for a strong finish, and it was just kind of womp, womp, womp. Jama asked, did the Democrats sprinkle President Trump's podium with the dosum whisk during the debate? Ooh, I think it might be possible. Now that's interesting. Or was Joe Biden aerosol dispersing it? I've heard that too. Lots of interesting stuff. And yeah, Yeah. Tracy says no, they were going to give it to him later. He just jumped ahead of it. It's really interesting stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, I love you. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate this great audience. Trump did beat them to it. Our great president is ahead of the game in so many different ways. Tomorrow, we're going to be breaking out another great episode of our Create Yourself with White Dianetics. You want to make sure that you're there for that. And I've got a really great series that I'm starting on the constitutional sheriff. And I'm telling you, and you know, Tracy just mentions, and we'll end with this. Tracy mentions the 25th Amendment. Nancy knows they ain't got time for the 25th Amendment. There's not even enough time before the election for that stuff. But they're just losing their ever-loving minds. They're trying to do everything that they possibly can. It is demonic, deep state, Sanhedrin, rat bastards. I didn't mean to delete that, Chuck. I hit the wrong button. It is deep state, Sanhedrin, rat bastards. Jameis says maybe it was a infected fly. And Trump did ruin their 25th Amendment arrow. Ladies and gentlemen, good stuff. Scully Hippos is a redhead and pasty. Now, that's not a bad thing. When I say pasty, I mean the little pasty Antifas because they never go outside. I love, we won't get into that, but ain't nothing wrong with redhead, strawberry blonde, and pasty. I'm not going to say anything but except for anyway, ladies and gentlemen, because Cynthia, strawberry blonde, pasty, that whole thing. Uh-oh. Chuck and Scully are having a little thing back and forth. Y'all can get you a room, ladies and gentlemen. Get you a room. Hey, I appreciate all of you. It's been a great night. Who can what do you expect from the Democrats when their mascot is a jackass? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. I'm your mailman. We're here sharing mail on the Late Night in the Heartland program. We appreciate Tracy and all of our great moderators. I appreciate most of all this great audience. And folks, this has been Late Night in the Heartland. And I want to thank you for making my day. Give yourselves a hand. We'll see you again tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Central Time.